Good morning. Good morning. All right, this is first. Doing this with the face in front of the camera rather than behind the camera. But I've been asked repeatedly to do this, so we're going to try something new today. So I may make some mistakes here based on the fact that I'm not used to doing this in front of folks, you know. But today we're baking something. What we've got on the list today is some Keto Cinnamon Rolls. That's been requested by my daughter. We also have some soda cracker candy. I used to make a lot of candy and haven't had time as of recently, so I'm going to give that a whirl. And right now, my daughter's out and about, and she, for my needs, is going to pick up some new items, some dark chocolate and white chocolate, so that I can make some Christmas bark. Yes, Christmas bark. So let's get started. I don't call this baking when I go to this keto stuff. I'm sure there's you out there that aren't going to agree with me, but I'm a traditional baker. Perhaps that's old-fashioned, not healthy, you say. Okay, well, I prefer it. But I'm not willing to give up on the other stuff because, okay, hold it. All right, this ain't gonna work. Okay, so I've removed the cat that was banging into the tripod. To get back to what I was saying, I like traditional. I like flowers, and I have 3 tubs over here. If you can maybe make them out. I've got wheat. I've got all-purpose unbleached, and I've got bread flour. And up in the rack up here, which you can just kind of make out up here, I've got rye flour, and I've got wheat, pastry wheat, oats, and I do have almond flour, and I do have coconut flour, so I will bake with them. These items down here, pink salt, I can't even say the word, yes. And then of course, you don't use sugar. We use this pure, which if you read a recipe, it'll call it urethral or urethritol. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But today we're going to make this cinnamon rolls. In here would be 3 eggs. I've got my almond flour, coconut flour, and in my blender here, my little coffee grinder, I've made some flaxseed meal out of raw ingredients, so we're going to use that. The recipe is pretty complicated in terms of what it is and how it is. I have to be very careful on how to do it because, again, this is a chemical thing, so I've got to be very accurate. So we're going to get started. I've got to get some eggs out here, and I got to get some melted butter. So hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, back here for a quick second. I'm putting together all the ingredients, and it dawned on me. One of the things that I do is I try to do what I have in stock. I have a whole lot of different items up here. And sometimes you run across an item on there like flaxseed meal. I need 3 tablespoons. I'm not going to go looking for flaxseed meal. But I do have different types of flaxseed. I've got a couple types. I even have flaxseed oil. But what I've done is I have whole flax seeds and my coffee grinder, that I don't use for coffee anymore. I have another one. And what I've done is basically taken and put it in here and made my own. It's not flour, it's not down to powder. It is actually flaxseed meal. You just got to adjust and do it for a specific time frame. So, works out well. I've done it many times and it works. Just a little bit, because you can't really stock everything under the sun. If you did, as in my case, for stocking a lot of stuff, I would even have more stuff to try to figure out where to put it. So this is enough. We've got plenty. All right, I've gotten the dry ingredients all put together now. Now it calls for a mixing of the wet ingredients in a mixer or a hand mixer. I'm not big into the little hand mixers. I either use my KitchenAid or I use my big mixer. Yeah. So today we're going to give this a whirl. So give me a few minutes, I'll be back. Okay. We've mixed the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. This kind of dough is not like traditional dough. You're not going to see that balling and right off the bat. This stuff's kind of like a chemical reaction. It's got to all sit in here for a little bit and do its thing. It's in its rest period now. 5 minutes supposed to rest, and then we'll take it out and work it up a little bit, roll it out. Hopefully everything on that end works right. So we'll get to that here in just a second. Okay, I moved over now from the baking cabinet to my workstation here. This is a little something I built. Always wanted. Good rock hard top. Solid top. Sorry. Alright, so we mixed this up. We mixed our, yeah. We mixed our spread for the middle of these cinnamon rolls. We've got our dough in, and it says the dough is to be really sticky. So, you're not supposed to use flour, which I normally would. So what we're going to do is oil up the old hands and try to get this out of here. This is weird. Definitely not what you would expect in a dough, especially not for someone like me. So we're going to go ahead and attempt to roll this out to a rectangle. It feels like it needs to be more stable. I don't know what. You got to be real careful, because unlike the filling that suddenly seized up on me, which again I'm not used to, because normally it's cinnamon and sugar and so forth, and that stuff doesn't seize up. Apparently, using all this stuff here does make it kind of a lot different. Rolling it out into a rectangle is actually a lot of trouble. I like that one, but this one here given the material we're using, might be a better choice. Trying to get it all uniform isn't easy either. I don't want to go too thin. If I go too thin, I don't know. Yes, folks, you're seeing it as I see it. I'm not 100% sure. And a failure on a brand new item like this is not uncommon. Alright, let's hope for the best on this then. Now, okay, this ought to be a whiz bang. And while we're doing this, of course, I have the oven on. Calls for 400 degrees preheat and then I believe 350 cook time. Yeah. I always reduce mine because, frankly, I use convection. I don't use regular baking. I like my convection. Make sure we get a coating of all this everywhere. God forbid we lose a little flavor here. Alright. Now the nasty part. We gotta roll this thing. Yes, sir, Joe Bob. Here we go. Hoy! This is definitely an oddball. I'm not used to this. It just seems too wet. What we've got here is a 8-inch pan, round pan. Grease the bottom. I always use shortening. I'm not a big spray paint kind of guy, you know. I know somewhere around here we've got spray cans. And in a pinch, in an emergency, yeah, I'll do it. Not that I'm real interested in doing that, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, you know. Yeah, this is tedious. This is where I'm cutting them into 1-inch pieces. Now, again, being non-traditional, I have no idea what we got going here. Alright, so what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, over a dozen. So we're going to need to pack this in a little tighter. Don't want to get too tight, mind you. But we definitely don't want to. Okay, so that's really weird. Let me go wash my hands. I don't even want to touch the camera. According to the instructions, we're now supposed to pop that into an oven at 400 for 5 minutes and then drop it down to 350. The oven has yet to reach it. It's at 375, which is fine. We'll get it in there in just a second. And then what we have to do is make a cream cheese icing. Yes, cream cheese icing. Well, we'll see what happens here. They look like they're going to be more like candy bits than they are anything else. Okay, we whipped up the cream cheese icing, and again, it's a lot of chemical reaction stuff going on here. I didn't show you, just kind of trying to hurry it up a little bit. I got her sounding off in the oven, ready to come out, I believe. So let's get a hot pad here and see what we got going in the oven. Okay, first off, hard to get out. I think another couple of minutes. She's browning up okay. Little different look, but let's give her a couple of minutes. We were going to use this maybe to cover her up a little bit if she got a little too brown too quick, but she's okay. Let's go ahead and put her in for a couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm doing timer because I'm talking and yeah, knowing me, I forget. And then what do you have? You have a burnt thing that nobody will eat. So I have granddaughters who'll eat pretty much anything. So I don't have to worry about that. So I can see how time flies when you're chit-chatting and chatting and chitting and everything else. I hate to overcook it, but again, the same thing. I'm looking at this for the first time go around. She's looking good. See, that would be 22 minutes. It says 25 max, so let's go 2. And I think we can call it at that point. Because I don't want it to get overcooked. I don't want it undercooked either. Now this filling here called for powdered sugar. And yeah, we have a powdered sugar. Let me show it to you real quick. 2 things that you got to be ready for, and that's all this chemical stuff. Now, this is the ultimate sugar replacement that I used, which is a confectioner's sugar. And then it also calls for liquid. And this is a little bottle of liquid enhancement, you know, organic liquid stevia extract. Basically some more of that erythritol. So these are 2 interesting items that you put in here, and this one here called for 10 drops, but this is a little spray bottle, so I had to shoot it into another cup and then do the drops because I couldn't do drops out of this thing. It's not a dropper bottle. So, alright, this is the end then. We will kill this thing here shortly. Oh, that's it. Okay, the grand unveiling. Here is the finished product. It's a bit unconventional in coloring and texture looks, but that's what they do nowadays. Let's hope that the bottom half, plunging anything in there, checking temperature. This is strictly a time bake recipe, so I have no clue, What we're going to do, we're going to let it set for a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and put on our cream cheese filling cover. I like it when it's still a little warm in this case because I want to get a glaze. If you just want the white frosting kind of convectioner looking thing, let it completely cool first. Otherwise your stuff's going to melt all over the place. Okay? I'll show you the finished results. I got to get started on the other stuff prepping, so I'll be back. And while we're standing here doing nothing, let's see about this guy. This is an item I made earlier today. This is the cream cheese filling that we're putting on top now, icing as they call it, I'm sorry. Now as you can see, it's melting. I prefer that. I like to have a little penetration with this stuff. Some people don't. They prefer to have it stay, right on the surface, and that's it, because they say it gets it too soft and gooey. I don't. And voila. There we have it. These are Keto Cinnamon Rolls with a cream cheese filling. All healthy stuff.